Calgary Flames have shaken things up on the defensive side of the ice by recalling two young D-men from the Wranglers and by giving Tyson Barrie a day off. With Kevin Bahl hopefully coming back ASAP, does this spell the end for Barrie as a Flame? And where do guys like Hanley and Miromanov fit in? After multiple moves, it's safe to say that things are heating up as the Flames hope to make a push for the playoffs. We're going to get into all of that and more in this video, but first, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. Let's hop straight in and talk about what's going on defensively. So, kind of strange here what's going on. Things are certainly heating up in more ways than one, but the way we can start it off, of course, is by talking about the transaction that the Flames made, making moves. Yan Kuznetsov and Ilya Solovyov, good old Solo, have been recalled from the Wranglers, which is great. It's two guys who I believe were both 2020 draft picks by the Flames, guys who a lot of fans want to be seen given a shot, but this transaction's odd, especially with Kevin Bahl coming back, because the Flames don't want to have, a million defensemen all at the NHL level. Barrie's still there, even though he was given a day off. Obviously, there's the core guys. Andersson will be back very soon if he's not already today from the Four Nations face-off. So it's kind of interesting what's going on here. So with Flames recalling two defensemen, what comes next? And that's kind of the key question for this entire video. We have a great article here by Wes Gilbertson from the Calgary Herald. So he says the Flames have a logjam on the blue line after Yan Kuznetsov and Ilya Solovyov were recalled up from the AHL's Wranglers. And they certainly do have a logjam now. So are the Calgary Flames looking to remodel their blue line for the playoff push? And that is an extremely important question here. Defensively, the Flames haven't been terrible this season. Lately, they've been a little bit more shaky, especially with Kevin Bahl injured. But overall, it's really been the offense that has let this team down. They haven't really been able to score at all, other than on the power play and especially on the two-man advantage. So maybe they are trying to remodel their blue line a little bit. Now, you think of the guys who are set in stone going to be in the lineup no matter what. You get Rasmus Andersson, MacKenzie Weegar, of course, Kevin Bahl if he's healthy, and you would assume Brayden Pachal and most likely Jake Bean stay together, which leaves just one spot. And overall, we've seen a circulation like crazy this year. Miromanov has been in there, Joel Hanley, Tyson Barrie's been in there. We've seen Solo come up and others. So it's interesting to see, are all of these guys locks? Even like Pachal and Bean. I know Pachal has been great. He's honestly improved throughout this whole season. Jake Bean almost seems like he's getting worse as the days go on. And that's no shot at Jake Bean. It's just, he's a good reflection of how this team's season has kind of gone in a way. You could say that about a lot of players. But overall, it is interesting. Are they remodeling? Or are they simply rewarding a couple of up-and-comers for their strong work with the AHL's Wranglers in Solo and Kuznetsov, of course? We'll have to wait to find out. The Flames recalled a pair of rear guards prior to Wednesday's practice at Winsport, obviously recording this on Thursday, with both Kuzi and Solo scoring a promotion from the farm team. They were among the 8 defensemen on the ice for an up-tempo session, and that's 8 is already too many, obviously, but keep in mind, that did not include Rasmus Andersson, who's still in transit after representing Sweden. That was as of yesterday. I'm not sure if he'll be back today or not at the Four Nations face-off, or Tyson Barrie, who was given a day off, but given a day off at this time is obviously very weird. This is what Huska had to say. So he said, internal competition, I think that's really important for us. So is that why they were brought up, to kind of spark more competition, kind of tell some of those guys maybe their spots aren't a lock? And with Raz still being away, you get opportunities to do stuff like that. And what about Barrie? That's the big question here. The power play specialist has been the Flames' most frequent scratch this season, suiting up for just 13 of 55 games. His absence Wednesday left many wondering if he was about to be waived, but there was no word of that, and still he has not been waived. We just gave him the day off today, Huska said. You don't often get a day off immediately after a week-long break. So there just was a big break. Why would Barrie be given another day off? All of this is going to boil down to speculation. I'm not too sure what, members of the media have said, whether they have said, oh, it must be because he's about to be waived. Others can say maybe there was a little bit of a disagreement. Others can say maybe his time as a Flame really is done here. Maybe they're preparing a trade for him, which I think would be ideal for both the team and the player. Overall, it's really, really interesting. It is what's going on defensively here. We can honestly say that. It is extremely interesting. It could be as simple as sending Kuznetsov and or Solo back to the Wranglers after a couple of practice auditions. Maybe Huska just wants to see some things. It could be a change of scenery for Barrie and or even Miromanov, who has been used sparingly over the past couple of months. For his part, Kuznetsov wasn't asking too many questions. The 22-year-old logged his lone NHL appearance in January of 2024, so over a year ago. He's been waiting since then for another crack. So overall, extremely interesting here. There's so many different ways the Flames can go about this. I know Zane Parekh was recently on Flames Talk as well, and he said his only goal next year is to make the team out of training camp. So if he takes another spot, what does that leave some of these other guys? It's overall extremely interesting. You think of yesterday's video as well, going over kind of Rasmus Andersson and his future with the team. Would it be better to trade him? That would certainly free up a spot for one of these guys like Solo or Kuznetsov for the rest of the season. And what does it mean for guys like Barrie? Is he done as a Flame? Miromanov, will his role really be kind of become the new Barrie and be scratched mostly? Joel Hanley has been great with MacKenzie Weegar, but where does he fit into all this? Overall, it's a huge logjam, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the Wranglers that just came up with Barrie and with some of these other outcasts, I guess we can say, that don't have a solidified position on this team. Overall, it really is getting crazy, and all these moves are making it just that much more fun. Now let's get into the next chapter of this video and talk about no excuses. We have a second article to kind of look at here as the Four Nations face-off obviously does wrap up tonight, and the break will be over very soon. Comes from Steve McFarland of the Hockey News. So he writes, no excuses as Flames prepare to make final playoff push. Here we go. The team, they are rested, healthy. The Calgary Flames will quickly know where they stand in their chase for a Western Conference wildcard spot after the break, which again, the Flames play on Sunday already. The NHL resumes on Saturday. The Flames have one more extra day and then they play at home on Sunday. But with a full complement of players expected to be available when they play their first game after Thursday's crowning of the Four Nations Face-Off champion, the Flames will have no excuses available if they fall further behind the Canucks for the last wild card spot. Just 3 points separate the Flames from the Canucks. Each has 27 games remaining. And the key thing here, obviously, is the great news about both Zary and Bahl being full participants at practice yesterday. You would hope that continue, and you would assume that means that they will play sooner than later, obviously as early as Sunday. It seems like both could be able to go, but again, you don't want to rush these things, of course. The path should prove challenging for the Flames, though. So he's writing here, there's no excuses, but hey, here's maybe an excuse. The schedule's a little tough. If they make it, they'll have earned it for sure. I agree. The Flames, they control their own destiny. They just have to win a lot through these last, 27 games here, and they should be able to make the playoffs. But the first game back on Sunday is a warm-up against the Sharks, and it's at home. If the Flames lose that one, you can call the season away, trade away all the vets. We're done. Go into full rebuild pretty much if the Flames do lose that game to the Sharks on Sunday. But the next 6 are road games against, get this, the Capitals, the Lightning, the Panthers, the Hurricanes, the Flyers, and the Stars. All teams, kind of near the top of the standings, or in terms of some of these teams like the Flyers and Lightning. The Lightning are really hot right now, or we're going into the break, and the Flyers, a team still battling for a playoff spot. So all of these teams are good, and all on the road is tough. It's going to be kind of interesting playing that Philly game, the return of Frost and Farabee over to Philly. It'll be interesting to play against Kuzmenko and especially Peltier. Hopefully they're in the lineup for that game. But either way, it is true. The Flames, you guys have been saying it in the comments, but the Flames have the road trip of hell coming up. And as you can see this, it really is going to be a tough one. So again, no excuses. If the Flames are losing, that's just how it is. They're not going to make the playoffs. They do control their destiny, but keep in mind, they do have a tough schedule. And that's not even their only tough road trip coming up in the next month or so here. There's another one as well. I can't quite remember. I think it's like Toronto and Colorado and Edmonton, teams like that. But either way, it's Toronto, New York, Rangers, Islanders, and the Devils, I think, something like that. But either way, there are some tough road trips coming up. The schedule isn't exactly in their favor. So if the Flames do start to slip away, It's kind of, I guess, expected if you think of the team going into the season, but who knows? The Flames have been proving us wrong all season, and they might just end up making the playoffs. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel. It comes from yesterday's video that we talked about briefly before about, Rasmus Andersson, kind of his future. Should the Flames trade him? Should they sign him? Kind of thing. And Robert had this to say. So Robert said, it's another mid to post apex retirement contract. It's true. Andersson is certainly kind of in the prime of his career right now. Obviously, this isn't his contract year, but next year is. So overall, very true. He's a good player, but bad timeline. And it truly, truly is. If the Flames had locked him up, long-term a little bit earlier, we wouldn't be in this situation at all, really. But we are. Andersson would obviously like to make more than he currently does. He's on a very team-friendly contract right now. And I'm assuming he'll, scan wherever he can, get the most he can. And that's completely fair. It probably, for the future of the Flames, is best to trade him away, as much as he would be a good leader and just a great player overall. But agreed, good player, bad timeline. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.